Hello, this is Diné here, your time management expert. For those of you who are new to my content, feel free to check out my other videos as it's going to just give you practical tips and guidelines on how to better manage your time and how to be more productive, generally speaking, helping you to cultivate a healthy work-life balance. I also offer one-on-one sessions for those of you who are just feeling like you're beyond just getting practical advice. You're to the point where you're just feeling overwhelmed and stressed and feeling like you've tried it all, just stuck, trying to get over that mountain onto the path that is meant for you. I'll be introducing to you in this video some popular time management methods. And these will be useful for those of you who are looking for more formal way of doing things or more structure to how you're running your day. So before diving into any of these methods, it's helpful if you already know your weaknesses in order for you to just see which one addresses your challenge, since that's one way for you to decide which method is right for you. So I'll be just highlighting some of the main aspects as it may relate to a mom who works from home. Time blocking is one time management method that is good for those of you who are struggling with distractions. So you're basically setting time slots for the various activities on your list. And during that time frame, you're making sure that you focus only on what's been allocated for that time period. So in effect, you'll be improving your concentration. Similar to the time blocking is time boxing. And with time boxing, you're giving your attention to a task within a specific time frame. But the emphasis with the time boxing is that you finish at a specific time as opposed to keeping it within the time frame. So as opposed to focusing on distraction, time boxing is focused on that you're not overcommitting yourself. And both of these are actually really good if you have the same activities from one day to the next, or if you have a certain activities that needs to be done within a specific time frame. If you get overly consumed on a task and you continue working on it just for the sake of getting it all done, although you're feeling like you're being unproductive, then the Pomodoro technique is a good one for you to use. It's a method in which you work for 25 minutes using a timer if you need to. And then you take a break for 2 to 5 minutes. And you do this for about 4 to 5 times. And then you would take a longer break at the end of that for typically 30 minutes. Another time management method is the Kanban method. And in this method, you're pretty much putting your task into categories. And you put them into the groups and they move from one category to the next as things move along. So the category groups would be to do, in progress, and complete. And this will give you a visual or an idea of where the presenting to-do list is in terms of what stage it is. And the emphasis really is to make sure that you're not multitasking and you're staying on top of the in progress group, making sure that it's manageable and that you're not overextending yourself. For those of you who are feeling overwhelmed just by looking at your to-do list, the 2-minute rule is a technique that may be helpful for you. And this is where you take on all of those smaller tasks that's on your to-do list and you get them off the list quickly. The whole idea is to keep the list small. So that way, if it's something that's quick, even better yet, if it's something that you can get done in 2 minutes or less, just go ahead and tackle those as soon as they come up. So that way you immediately don't even have to put it on your list. So an example would be decluttering your desk regularly instead of having the papers pile up and then at the end of the week, then you have to go through sorting those papers. Or maybe when the bills come in, some people may decide it's better to write that bill, pay it off, instead of at the end of the month going through a stack of bills that you have to take care of. Or even something like deleting your messages that are in your inbox. If you know it's a junk mail, deleting it right away instead of it having to be in your inbox and then you having to make a new task to clear out the items in your inbox. So this method was actually created by Dave Allen, and James Clear, he created a spin to this technique. So with his technique, He suggested that if you're having a hard time getting started on something, struggling to incorporate it in your routine, then see if you could set aside 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, so that way it seems more manageable. So if you decide to maybe take on a small task with your child, or maybe something special that you want to do for yourself, learn a new language or a new instrument, 2 minutes adding to the thoughts that you have on getting the project done and dedicating 2 minutes around that project, that'll help it to seem more manageable. And then naturally in time, then you'll add more than 2 minutes, or add 2 minute increments over time. Initially though, you want to stay strict with the 2 minutes, so that way it'll help you to get motivated to get it started instead of procrastinating because it just seems too overwhelming. The Agile method is really used within business groups, but as a work from home mom, the concept really has to do with managing each time to a task individually and just continually reassessing along the way. So if you notice that you're having weekly meetings, and as it gets closer to the deadline, there seems to be a pattern that every week the meeting is lasting maybe X amount of minutes longer or finishing earlier, then you have to make adjustments as you go along the way. Or maybe you're noticing that every time that you're reviewing a new chapter or teaching a new topic to your child for school, and every night it seems that for the beginning, the new topic, it's longer, but then as you go through, you're finishing maybe 15 minutes earlier on that chapter with him or her. And so it seems like you need to reassess and you just adjust based on the assignment and based on how it's moving from one step to the next. And that's the whole purpose of this technique, is so that way over time you'll be more comfortable getting used to setting more accurate deadlines or time periods to something. GTD, getting things done. And this method is really about relieving you of that overwhelming feeling that you have around the amount of items that is on your to-do list. So the point is, you want to have a mental, high-level idea of what's involved with the task as it comes in, so that way you can fit it where it belongs. So if you know something came in, but you know that you're going to need to ask a question about it before you can move forward, then put it on the list of phone calls I need to make. Or if you know that something came in and I could get this done while I'm sitting at my kids' practice, then put it as a phone reminder when it comes in for the time that you're in the car, so that way it can remind you that you need to follow up on that item. Or maybe you have an item that came in, but you know that you can't even get started on it right away because the resources that's needed for that task is not coming till next week. So put it on your calendar with a reminder and a specific time slot on your calendar, so that way you'll know when it pops up that that item needs to get taken care of at that time. So the whole idea is not to have anything up in the air, but putting everything in an actionable category, so that way it's off of your mind until you get the reminder that you need to act on it. The Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule. This idea stems from the concept of producing more while you're working less. So it relates more to projects and what should I really do? What tasks should I be working on in order to accomplish my goal? And so when you look at all the tasks that's involved to get to your goal, spending the most amount of time on what's going to give you the biggest impact. So for example, if you're working on doing a write-up, focus more on the table of content and the outline, because that is what's give you the biggest impact, although it's only a small percentage of the book. Or maybe you're teaching your kid how to ride a bike. Focus more on the main part, which is balancing, and then everything else will fall into place, like the pedaling and the moving the handlebars, and the whole process will just come together more naturally. The Ivy League method emphasizes that you work on no more than 6 items in a day. So as you decide what those 6 items are going to be, you put them in order of priority, from the most important to the least important. Then as you go down the list, you're making sure that you don't go on to the next item until the previous item is completely done. And so this is good if you have a hard time remaining focused on a task. And this is going to assist you to having those most important items completed by the end of the day. The Eisenhower matrix is for those individuals who are having a hard time prioritizing. So it focuses on putting tasks into categories based on urgency. And the task goes as urgent and important task, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, or not urgent or important. And then it works you through the systematic approach of dealing with these categories. If you're working on procrastination, the Eat That Frog technique emphasizes you taking on the most important or challenging items first thing in the morning. By doing this, you set your day up so that way everything else seems more manageable and easier. So that way you keep up the momentum so you can get the other items done on your list for the day. A tip to know which time management method works best for you is to be mindful of how you're doing or how you're going about your day now. And then see which one is most aligned. And then if you find one that resonates with you, then I encourage you to do your research on that specific methods to get more information or the details around that method. And then tweak it to your own personality, your work and lifestyle, or your family dynamics and your special needs. And then modify it or combine some concepts that fit for you. I hope you find this helpful. Until next time, goodbye.